Hello बच्चों, the question is which of these is not an important component of initiation of parturition in humans? So parturition is the act of delivery of a child. So delivery of a child or expulsion of a child from the mother's body is known as parturition. So during parturition, it requires the contraction of myometrium. So during parturition, there is vigorous contraction of myometrium, which is the middle layer of uterus, and it is formed of smooth muscles. So the contraction of smooth muscles of uterus, it expels the child out from the female's body. Now for the contraction of myometrium, the principal hormone required is oxytocin. So this oxytocin is also known as the birth hormone, as it causes the contraction of myometrium, which is responsible for the parturition. So during delivery, the level of oxytocin is very high in mother's blood, as this is required for the parturition. Now this oxytocin is released from the posterior lobe of pituitary, and it is posterior lobe of pituitary. It's stimulated by the fully mature placenta and fetus. So when the fetus and placenta are fully mature, it provides a signal to the posterior lobe of pituitary, which then releases oxytocin, which causes the contraction of myometrium. So this is important for parturition. The next is prolactin, release of prolactin. So prolactin is not required for parturition. Prolactin is actually the maternity hormone, and it is released from the pituitary gland, from the anterior lobe of pituitary. Now this hormone is not required for parturition, rather it is required for milk formation. So it is required after parturition and it is not involved in the process of parturition. So this is not an important component. Then next is increase in estrogen and progesterone ratio. So progesterone and estrogen, these are two steroid hormones. So progesterone is the pregnancy hormone. It maintains endometrium. So it prevents the breakdown of endometrium throughout the pregnancy, and also it is found in recent studies that progesterone, it stops the myometrial contraction. So it prevents the myometrial contraction during pregnancy. So it maintains the myometrium in quiescent stage, means it prevents the contraction of myometrium. So it stops the myometrial contraction throughout the pregnancy. And estrogen, at the other hand, it changes the it is responsible for the contraction. In recent studies, it is observed that it is responsible, means it somehow causes the contraction of myometrium. So it is found that it increases the expression of genes, the genes which are involved in the formation of certain factors which are involved in contraction of myometrium. So during the parturition, it is required to lower down the level of progesterone, because otherwise the myometrium will be in quiescent stage, it will not contract. So for myometrial contraction, it is required to lower down the level of progesterone, and estrogen level should be increased, because it will increase the expression of those genes which are required or involved in the contraction of myometrium. So during parturition, level of estrogen will rise while the level of progesterone will fall. So the ratio of estrogen to progesterone will increase. So this event is true. So it is associated with parturition. It is also associated with parturition. Then synthesis of prostaglandins. So prostaglandins are lipid derived compounds. So these are lipids, and these lipids are their action is like the hormones, and during parturition these are released from the extra embryonic layers such as chorion. So these are released from chorion and the amnion, and also by the uterus. And these prostaglandins, these are also involved in the contraction of uterus. So this is also true. So the only event which is not associated with parturition is the release of prolactin. So the right answer of this question is option B. All the best.